How are we doing, everyone? Welcome to the Real Talk Network podcast. My name is Omar. I'm joined by Yusuf, Jamil, Abdul, and Sulaiman, and we got a great podcast for you guys today.
So today we're going to be talking about our favorite steals in the NFL draft last week. We're going to be talking about picks that we did not like. We're going to be talking about the NFC North Division as a whole, the draft, the free agent pickups, everything around that. And we're also going to be talking about our favorite power rankings, our top 10 for the 2021 NFL season. We're also going to be talking about Aaron Rodgers wanting to leave Green Bay.
Let's get right into it.
All right, so from one of my favorite steals, obviously this is very biased, but in the second round, I like Tevin Jenkins getting taken 39th overall. I thought that he was a first round talent, but I also, for my second pick, steal wise, I definitely love Terrence Marshall Jr. to the Panthers at 59. He was mocked to be in the first round towards the end to the Ravens, hopefully somewhere around that range, and he went 59th overall, and he adds to that elite receiving core of Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, tons of people. I love the pick and I love the value.
So I agree with you with the Tevin Jenkins one. There might be a little bit of bias too,
Mm-hmm.
but we did plan on taking him, or a lot of boards had us taking Tevin Jenkins at 20 in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of crazy how we got him in the second round too. I thought Terrence Marshall was somewhat decent. I'm kind of fine with the position that he went, but my sort of like steal was JOK with the Browns in the second, and Trayvon Moehrig, who went to the Raiders in the second as well, who was I thought was the best safety in that draft class, and him falling to the second was pretty big.
Yeah, it was. People like to hit on the Raiders draft, but if you switch the first and second pick, where they took Alex Leatherwood at number 17 overall, and they took Trayvon Morgan in the second round, if you flip those two picks, and that's a solid like first two rounds.
Yeah, I mean, I had Alex Leatherwood as I thought it was one of the worst picks in the draft, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought he went
What?
way too early than he should have. I mean,
It was
I
definitely a
thought the
reach.
worst pick, I thought the
Yeah.
worst pick was Peyton Turner to the Saints,
Mm-hmm.
the defensive end in the first round, because he was just kind of like a nobody.
Mm-hmm.
In that first round, I don't even think he was like in first or second round
He was like
conversation
he
at
was like in
all.
the 170s on the big board, bro.
And they have a lot of defensive ends on that team,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, it's solid defensive ends on that team. So I it didn't make any sense for them to get Payne Turner. Alex Leatherwood, I just thought he was just a reach. There was so many other offensive linemen that were better than him available. Like Christian Darrisaw was available too. So I honestly don't know why they took him. But I just thought that was
Yeah,
kind of
I'm
just like
gonna
a
go with my biggest steal of the draft being Christian Barmore.
no, that was
This
solid by the
guy,
That
Vikings.
was a really
yeah,
good
this
steal.
guy
That was the
is,
Patriots.
Oh, but Patriots, my bad.
yeah,
Patriots,
Barmore, not
Patriots.
Darrisaw. Yeah.
Darrisaw.
yeah, no, but it's okay. Barmore is, he's a defensive tackle, and it's very hard to come by good defensive tackles in the draft. If you look at previous drafts, defensive tackles, they're hard to come across. Like, you can only think of a few like elite defensive tackles in the league. Aaron Donald probably is the only defensive tackle that most casual fans can
Akeem Hicks.
talk about. Christian Barmore has potential to bring a lot to a team in a position that is highly needed and very scarce to find good players in that position. So that's why I really like that pick.
Yeah, I mean he, especially since he was like the best defensive tackle out of that
Yeah,
draft too.
and he was mocked in the
It's
first too as well.
it,
So it was
yeah,
surprising to see him fall.
yeah, it was kind of crazy how he fell to the second round. I honestly believed he would fall to the second half of the first round, if anything. But for him to fall in the second round was kind of crazy for the Patriots to pick up. I mean, he did well. He was biting people in Alabama. He was just impacting the run game, and he was just always putting pressure on the quarterback. So definitely crazy for them to get him in the second round. It's
I
gonna
think
boost that
that
defense
I
a
think
lot.
that teams we expected there to be a lot less edge rushers that went in the first than actually happened. I think there were so many teams that could have gone like defensive tackle that need to build up their D line. Like we could have seen Arizona go out to try to build up their D line. Miami, a couple of other teams, like even the Bills. The Bills don't really have a front seven. Well, they went with Gregory Rousseau, but there were so many edge rushers that went in the first round. I thought that Barmore was going to be one of the D linemen to go, and I guess he wasn't. But it was a solid steal in my opinion.
I think that the Patriots, just the whole draft kind of went that way with them for the first few rounds. Like Mac Jones perfectly fell into their lap. They didn't have to trade up. Christian Barmore perfectly fell up into their lap. And another pick that I had as a steal was Ronnie Perkins, and he went in the third round for them. He was a guy I really wanted the Chargers to get, maybe even in the second round or trade up into the third round to get this guy because I was huge on him. He's an Oklahoma edge rusher, and I think he has what it takes to be a difference maker on the defensive line. So I think the Patriots overall had one of the best drafts, and just because everything kept falling into their lap perfectly.
I mean,
think
Bill O'Brien is just a decent, or not Bill O'Brien,
This
Bill
man said
Belichick.
Bill
Bill
O'Brien.
Belichick.
Bill
I
O'Brien.
mean, I
Do
mean,
not,
you can get
do
Watson.
not, do not praise Bill O'Brien's name.
Bill Belichick is
Texans
just
fans will
solid.
kill you.
No, for a fact.
Yeah, I was
Um,
saying.
But
I
I
was
was saying
saying.
Bill Belichick was a solid coach. But yeah, go ahead, tell my bad.
Yeah, my bad. So I was saying that my steal of the draft was Dwayne Eskridge. I think that he's what?
Bro,
I think
that's
that
my
he's
that's
extremely-
one of my like most hated picks, dude. That's on my
Really?
list. Yeah, I
That
do
was one
not
of
like
my-
that pick, dude.
No,
Dude, he went
bro.
to the Seahawks. The
The
Seahawks,
Seahawks, yes.
it was their first pick in overall in the entire draft because they don't have a first rounder because they traded to the Jets, who then took like Elijah Vera Tucker, like trading up to get that. But dude, they're literally the strongest trait of the Seahawks is the receiving
Alright.
core.
You have a
Yeah,
point there. You
that-
have a point there. I maybe it doesn't fit the team needs that much, but I think that he's like an insane talent. I think
Talent wise,
he has-
he's decent.
because he has like insane burst right off the line. He can catch the ball in traffic. Like he has a catch point radius, and he has like insane speed. Like I was watching highlights of him, and I was like, bro, if the Packers get this dude in the second round, which I'm still happy with Amari Rodgers, he's good, I guess. But like if we got Dwayne Eskridge, I would have been so happy. Plus he's a really good returner too. I think that he was a steal in the second round. I mean,
I think
that's
I
my
think that
opinion, even though he doesn't fit
the Seahawks
need.
just shouldn't like when you have the Seahawks. I think they had the least amount of picks in the draft. They didn't have like many picks. They had only like several. And so
Why?
when you have they just trading all their picks away and like just
They traded
Oh,
two for
Jamal Adams.
Jamal.
But
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
they
but-
also had like they traded away their later rounds, so they didn't have that many picks overall. And you take your first pick at the position you're the most abundant at. Like they just extended Tyler Lockett to a 4-year, over like 70 million. He's averaging like 17.25 million a year for the next 4 years. And then you also have DK Metcalf on his rookie contract. Like you have two studs, and then you're just like, hey, I'm gonna use my first pick on a wide receiver.
Russell
was-
Wilson in that draft room, bro. He has a gun.
He's
he
like,
has a
I'm
gun
gonna
pointed
leave
to the
if you don't
GM.
get me another receiver. He pulls like a Rodgers.
I mean,
Yeah.
that dude needs help on offensive line, and he needs help on that defense. So
That's
I honestly
true.
didn't make any sense, especially in that stack class for offensive linemen.
Mhm.
I thought it was bad. I actually liked the Amari Rodgers to the Packers pick. I'm a big Amari Rodgers guy,
Yeah,
so I
like it.
actually like that a lot. I think he's gonna ball out with you guys. I think he'll be
think
your second best receiver.
That was my second favorite pick, even though it's really biased. I think that he's kind of like a Randall Cobb. Like, his dad actually coached Randall Cobb in the NFL. He's very similar to him. He has really good returning ability, and even though he's 5'9", I think he's like 214 pounds. So he's built like kind of like a running back. So it's kind of hard to catch him like in the backfield. So he's also kind of like a gadget player. So I think he's a good versatile player, good weapon for Rodgers, hopefully.
I think he'll be solid. Yeah, I think that was
Yeah.
definitely a really good pick for you guys.
Yeah.
The Packers will have an A. Rodgers on their team no matter what. now.
Yeah.
True.
Probably,
Oh.
it's probably gonna be one.
So, I just want to add another steal of the draft, and that's going to be Darisaw. We talked about how Tevin Jenkins, you guys considered him a steal of the draft, but to be honest, I can't really consider Tevin Jenkins to be that much of a steal of draft when you like see Christian Darisaw going in the mid 20s.
Yeah, that was
Because
good.
Christian
that was
Darisaw was
definitely a
like
steal, too.
somebody who was supposed to be going 15. So when you look at so clearly there was an abundance in that position is what a lot of teams thought, and they were willing to pass on a tackle. So that's why I kind of steer clear from him being a steal. But
No,
I would
I
like to
definitely
say
agree.
Christian
I definitely-
Darisaw is a steal.
Darisaw was
I-
definitely a solid pick because they traded down. They're at 14 and
Yeah.
they traded down to 23, somewhere around that range to take Darisaw, and they accumulated a couple of picks from the Jets. So I think, and they got their guy I mocked Darisaw to the Vikings in my original draft. So to trade down and then mock him, or he actually went to the Vikings, I thought that was a great steal. But I
Yeah.
still think that Tevin Jenkins, who was probably the fourth best offensive tackle or somewhere around that range, where there were so many teams he was supposed to go in the first to us, I think that was a steal definitely too.
Listen, like I said, the Alex Leatherwood pick that should not have happened at all. That man is mocked like 6-7 best tackle or 6-7 best offensive lineman coming into this draft. Especially when you have Christian Darisaw still on the board, who was mocked from 15 to 20 by almost everybody, and they almost had him as a consensus second, third tackle coming into the draft. So I thought that was just a bad pick by the Raiders, and that was a huge reach. I mean, I guarantee you, Alex Leatherwood would have stayed deep into that second round.
That's not true. I saw a report that teams had him as a big board on their big board as like an end of the first round talent. So if they had waited to the second round, there's a good chance that he would have been
And there
gone.
was a huge
Just by the
run on
reports that I
tackles.
saw.
Like right after
There-
Tevin Jenkins got taken at
Yeah.
39, there were so many tackles that were taken. There was like a huge
Yeah.
run. So he might have not been there at their second pick. But like I said, you switch their first and second round picks, and it's a solid like for top 2 picks overall. Another pick that I did not like is Pat Fryermouth at 55 to the Steelers. The Steelers have so many holes. The Steelers, I honestly, this was their second round pick. He went at 55 to the Steelers. I'm not a big fan of the Najee Harris pick because Najee Harris is going to be running behind no one. And so I think that they should have traded up to try to get maybe Dylan Radins or Liam Eichenberg, somewhere around that range to try to build up their O-line because you see they lost Alejandro Villanueva. Their O-line is not there. And so you guys decided to take a tight end. You already have like a stacked like receiving core. Like I like their receiving core. I like Juju. I like with Deontay Johnson. Like I like their receivers. And then they don't have Vance McDonald. I think that guy retired. But to get a tight end in the second when you have so many other needs, I thought that was just goofy.
Do you have
Uh,
any problems with? Sorry, so I just want to ask Abdul. Do you have any problems with Pat McFlyermouth or whatever his name is?
Pat
or-
Fryermouth,
Like
Fryermouth.
as a player,
McFlyer as a player, or just the fit you're saying, or what
I
the
think
team
just
needs?
it's more overall just a fit. Like I think he's a decent player, but just like at his position, like positional value wise, and like taking him in the second round when you have so many other needs, and they're a win now team. They have Big Ben for what this is Big Ben's last year. I feel that is his last year. If you're gonna go for a title, you got to build up on positions that you don't have. Like JOK went what 52nd. They're at 55th, and they lost linebackers. They lost Bud Dupree. They could have traded up to get so many solid pieces, or even there were so many solid pieces at the position that they were at, and they just chose to take a tight end.
I don't know, because the tight end they drafted is a good blocking tight end, and then
Yeah, I was about to-
in
I was-
addition to that,
Mm-hmm.
they drafted a center, the very next pick in the third round, and also the Steelers are really good at like drafting. That's how they get their players, right?
Mhm.
So
I think if
that,
you're
so,
finish
yeah,
your
I think that like they pretty much drafted best available, and I think that even though it was kind of confusing them not going like needs first, I think that the overall draft worked out for them, and I don't know. I don't think it's as bad as you think it was,
Mhm.
but I
Yeah,
see
it's
your
not
point.
terrible.
If
Like,
you're gonna
Right.
criticize a draft pick from the Steelers, I think it has to be the Najee Harris
Mhm.
pick. I-
yeah, taking him at
because
25 in the first was not good.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that the depth for their running back on their team is not good. Like
Mhm.
they have Benny Snell as their RB1 right now, but prior to drafting Najee, but I just think that you have to protect Big Ben. He's old. He's had a couple of injuries. If he gets hit hard, there's a good chance that because he injured it was his shoulder, right?
He had his elbow. He was out for the
Or his
2019 year
elbow.
with his elbow. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility that could re-injure and it would cause him to retire. You have protecting Big Ben is probably your biggest priority, or at least what it should be this year, if you want to win now.
See, I actually like that Pat pick because he is a solid blocking tight end. And you mentioned how they need offensive linemen, but they did draft offensive linemen in the third round.
Mm-hmm.
And that dude is gonna bring solid blocking for them. Because I mean they use tight ends. A lot of teams use tight ends blocking just for as pass blocking or for run blocking too. And if he's able to succeed in that, I think it'd be a solid pick for him to be a dual threat blocking tight end and a pass catching tight end.
Yeah, I feel that. So this like for one more pick that I didn't really like. This is obviously some bias. I do not like the Cheeseheads. I do not like the Packers, but Josh Myers. I think that taking Josh Myers when Creed Humphrey is still on the board, I didn't think that was a good pick. But with Green Bay, they have a history of taking offensive linemen and then just turning them into goats. Like you take Eldon Jenkins. Eldon Jenkins is one of Eldon Jenkins. When was he? 2019 or 2020?
Yeah,
2019,
yeah,
right?
he was a second rounder.
Yeah. So Eldon Jenkins is such a good offensive lineman. He could play pretty much any position. And I don't really like the Josh Myers pick, but when you look at their history of developing offensive linemen, they have a top 3 offensive line unit. It might not be the same with Corey Linsley gone, but they still have a great unit. Their offensive line coach is insane. They have a good history of developing, but I just thought that, and Creed Humphrey got snatched right after this pick, like directly after by the Chiefs. I'm not too much of a fan of the Josh Myers pick.
I didn't like it either, but honestly, like you said, dude, the Packers always just get like
Yeah,
those
they have so
hidden
much
gem
luck, dude.
amazing linemen. So I'm just not gonna say anything because he's probably gonna turn out to be dummy.
The only thing I saw, here's a good point. Corey Linsley, he was like the one. He was a Ohio State center. So, and this guy was an Ohio State center. So I guess maybe, I think the Packers are just trying to. They like to go to like the same teams when it goes to like linemen. So I don't know. That's a good point, but yeah, I feel like I feel like Creed Humphrey was obviously the better lineman, but I guess the Packers they scout.
I mean,
or something.
the Packers just need him so that he can leak Justin Fields secrets to the Packers.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, Packers are O-line gurus, so I don't doubt them on that. But one of my least liked picks was the Rams taking Tutu Atwell.
Oh,
And
that wasn't good.
Tutu Atwell as a player, he'll have some nice plays, but I only see him as like a gadget player just because of his size and speed and the way he's built. And just the fact that the Rams don't need a receiver at all. They already have two amazing ones in Cup and Woods. They have Van Jefferson, who they took in the second round in the previous draft. I believe he was a second round pick. And they have tight end play too. Like, they don't need any more skill positions for receivers. They have plenty of those. So I was just a little confused by that, to be honest.
What?
Did
I
he
think
go in the second round?
Yeah, he was a second round pick.
Dude,
And Van
that was
Jefferson
so
was
bad.
very underrated last year, dude. He was good. He was a very good player.
Oh,
Like,
wait.
he's the third option on the team, but he's really good. Van
They
Jefferson.
definitely
Oh,
should have
yeah,
gone.
definitely.
They definitely should have
destroyed
gone
us.
for
He
a
destroyed the
defensive back. Like their secondary is spread thin now that they like Troy Hill's gone, John
Johnson's
Johnson.
gone.
Yeah, John Johnson's gone. He went to the Browns. So who's in that secondary other than Jalen Ramsey? You're gonna have Jalen Ramsey cover like 3 people at once?
I just think they got like too excited since they got Matt Stafford throwing the
Yeah.
ball now. So they're like, let's just get this dude stacked on the offense. So,
Right.
but yeah, it's not. I don't think it's a good pick at all. They got offensive pieces, so
Mm-hmm.
they definitely need to fix that defense.
I'm sure Sean McVay's going to find a way to fit him into the offense. It's just that, do you need him to fit
The
into
value.
the offense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I feel that.
One pick that I think I think all of you guys will agree with this probably being up there for the worst is ETN.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's top 3.
Because
That's very bad.
you look at how the Jaguars need almost every position to be improved as a developing team because they just went off of a terrible season. They're rebuilding. They have a lot of holes. Probably the only position, there's only a few positions that you can say are guaranteed for them, or that we're helping them. And James Robinson last year was helping them win games, or at least
Yeah, he
try
was a
to win
freak.
games.
Jen
One
Robinson
game.
was good.
Yeah, one
Yeah,
game.
he was a freak.
But he was trying his best. I mean, he was an undrafted free agent, had a tremendous year, considering all of the factors about how poor quarterback play, teams were stacking the box against him, and he was still able to put up production.
He was like 6th
Yeah.
in rushing, and he missed a couple games at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
there
think he broke some records too. I don't know.
I
yeah,
heard,
he
like-
has the he did.
people were, I think Urban Meyer, people were speculating that it's going to be like a 1-2 thing where like, it's Kamara and Ingram 2.0, but like, let's be real, you don't have the luxury to spend a first round pick on a 1B, a running back.
It's Trevor Lawrence's team already. He's like,
Yeah,
get my friend now.
I think they just want to use him because James Robinson really isn't a pass catching back.
Right.
And I think Urban Meyer wants to create sort of that like pass catching back dynamic with Trevor Lawrence. And if he brings Travis Etienne in, that's an instant connection for them on that offense. So I think that's what his mindset was. It definitely wasn't a good pick at all, but I can see why he chose Travis Etienne though.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why they did the pick. I just think that it doesn't help their team enough to justify it being a first round.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%.
All right.
That's my biggest problem. It's just like the talent, it's there. Etienne, he's a really good player, but the Jacks just need a lot, and
That's true.
running
Yeah.
back wasn't it.
I mean, they were the worst team last year.
So now that we've talked about our favorite picks and picks that we didn't like very much, we got to talk about what happened on draft day, the news that got leaked. Aaron Rodgers wants out of Green Bay, as reported by Adam Schefter, who then came out and said that it's not that much information. It's just stuff that's been accumulating over since the season ended. but I just want to hear you guys' opinion on the situation overall.
I
It's
think we should have
stupid.
Sully. I think we should have Sully just talk about it real quick.
Wait,
Look,
one
I
one
think
thing I want to do before we talk about him leaving is maybe talk about the culmination of Aaron Rodgers' career and what's happened while he's been at Green Bay
Mhm.
that maybe could provide insight for why he wants to leave.
the
We
thing with
have Mike McCarthy staying as a head coach for so long with Aaron Rodgers carrying him like a sack of rice on his back. And he carried along Mike McCarthy for so long. Mike McCarthy was bringing Aaron Rodgers down for a whole lot of time, and Aaron Rodgers had to deal with that. Then you have a lack of production in first round picks. They're all going towards defense, and somehow the Packers can't have a top 10 defense for more than 2 seasons in Aaron Rodgers' career. You
Yeah, they
have
drafted all defense
Mike
since
Patine
2012.
being a defensive coordinator, just doing absolutely nothing to help that defense and just making it seem like that defense was a joke while he was defensive coordinator. Then you have the Jordan Love pick
Best pick.
on top of the AJ Dillon pick. I'm sure the AJ Dillon pick didn't really piss him off too much, but that Jordan Love pick, man, that's a smack in the face. Your team goes 13-3, goes to the NFC Championship. He says, "Yeah, I think it's time to start looking past Aaron Rodgers as our quarterback and start looking into the future and maybe start rebuilding, or at least." And the fact that they traded up for that.
And,
There's
I mean,
also
he also said he wanted to play till he was 40. So he
Yeah.
still he wanted to play with the Packers for 4 or 5 years, and then boom, they get a quarterback. They trade up for a quarterback.
It's just
Who was
And then
that?
they were-
The top quarterback in the draft. He was.
And
he was
then there
like,
were reports of Aaron Rodgers asking for a contract extension this offseason. They didn't want to give it to him. Then the stuff got leaked, and then they offered him the extension,
Allegedly, they
I
told
which
him that
probably
they wanted to
isn't
trade
even
him.
the extension that he wants. That Aaron Rodgers deserves to be the highest paid quarterback or up there.
They're just like as you said, like everything that they've done for the past 10 years to him has just been disrespectful. Like he can't get a top 10 defense to save his life. Every time he goes to the NFC North Championship or he leads them to that, they literally just choke. 2014, the defense lets up a touchdown on a fake kick. I don't know how that's possible. They let up that two-point conversion, which was disgusting. You have the 2016 NFC Championship where Julio literally just kills them. Bill has like 140 receiving yards and a half.
Dude,
And
because
then
Ladarius
Ladarius
Gunter was
Gunter,
playing corner
Yeah.
one.
that's because
on-
of injuries, though. Honestly, like there's so many injuries on.
No.
That year
You
was
can say
plenty
injuries
injuries.
maybe for this year because Bach was injured, but 2019 you literally let Raheem Mostert run for the second most playoff
Mostert.
rushing yards of all time, 209 yards. You know the team is bad, the defense is bad when Jimmy Garoppolo threw the ball 8 times. A quarterback throws the ball 8 times in one game. You know that they're gonna run the ball. So that was disgusting.
it was
You
the most
forgot-
predictable thing.
You forgot the
Straight up.
onside kick.
Oh, the
I
onside!
forgot
Oh,
about the
2015,
onside
yeah.
kick against the
The 20
Seahawks.
okay,
Well,
that
wasn't
was
really
that
anybody's
was
fault,
disgusting.
But yeah,
Brandon
that
was
was
on a
that
special
That was
thing.
Brandon Bostic's
Yeah.
fault.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was like complete luck, dude. I don't even know what
What do you mean
happened.
it's complete luck? It's just all
That
them
was
being
luck.
You're
burgers.
making
Like
this
Saul
is
live
lucky.
through so much like pain.
Pain,
Like, he's
Dude,
Yeah,
well,
like,
we
he
have
has-
to provide the
he has the
picture for
PTSD.
why Aaron Rodgers wants out.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not
I don't
just
know if
one
he wants
thing.
out,
And then-
but he has the right to be angry.
I
Yeah,
think-
why he has the right to
Look,
be angry.
I think the
is great.
biggest thing on why Aaron Rodgers wants out. You guys had good points, but I think all of that, like a lot of not a lot, but like some QBs go through, right? But the biggest thing that no QB goes through is not having a say in just front office decisions. You see Brady have a say. You see now Russell Wilson has a say. You see Mahomes has a say.
Kyler
But
Murray
Rodgers-
had to say.
Yeah, but Rodgers,
They called Kyler Murray before they made their first round pick this year. You want to
Uh-huh.
know something else?
Andy
The
Dalton.
Chargers. Yeah,
They
they
call Andy
Andy
Dalton.
Dalton.
Who-
That is just
who cares about
disrespectful,
Andy
bro.
Dalton?
And
Andy
Andy
Dalton.
Dalton has literally not even played one snap for the Bears, and they're like, "Hey, yo,
Here's
we're
another
drafting
one.
Fields."
Yeah,
The Chargers.
QB.
The Chargers had Justin Herbert in their draft room on day one for the draft day, so he was involved in the decision making there, or at least he was a part of it.
Mhm.
Clearly you had Trevor Lawrence as a part of the decision for ETN because I don't think there's any way you could say Lawrence didn't have a say to help make that happen. So you see, and there was a big sentiment that like, oh, no player gets to make a say in what happens in the front office. But that's clearly not true. We see rookie quarterbacks or second-year quarterbacks making decisions or at least being involved in the decision making.
That is
Listen,
definitely disrespectful.
if I'm Aaron Rodgers and I'm the most important person in an organization, and then they don't treat me like I'm part of their organization, that I would take that personally. If they don't give me that same type of respect that I'm giving them, that I'm putting all my effort and work to make you guys great, but you're not doing anything to help me do what I want to do, as it just no help at all. You don't include me in anything, then I would be mad if I was Aaron Rodgers.
I think that we have tried to help him. Even if you guys say you don't, we have.
Okay,
like,
no,
we
he
signed-
definitely has
right,
help.
let me-
You guys have had help, but you guys don't
we've
talk.
signed we've signed defensive free agents. We've constantly drafted defensive players like Jair Alexander. Even though some of them don't work out, we're still trying, right?
But you're forgetting Jair
can you
Alexander.
tell me some
Jair
of the
Alexander.
free agents that you would say were big free agents that the Packers landed?
Zadarius Smith, that was good. Zadarius
Zadarius
Smith
Smith,
was a good free
Adrian-
agent.
Adrian
Preston
Amos.
Smith, not
Adrian Amos.
good. Preston Smith is not good.
He's up and down. Like at first
Preston
season,
Smith
he
had
went
one good
crazy.
year, but
Like
then like
13
he's only been
you're
there 2
talking about
years.
the drafting like Jair.
Billy Turner.
Jair
Turner.
Jair was a good draft pick, but how many cornerbacks are they going to take in the top 2 rounds in the past couple of years? They traded up to get or they traded down to get Kevin King. They just got Eric Stokes.
There's no problem with the Packers consistently taking defensive players in the first round. I think it's the fact that they just don't
produce.
get good
They don't produce
value out of them.
They
It's
don't
what,
they don't talk to Aaron Rodgers about it. What about the Jordan Love pick?
Oh, that was bad.
Okay,
Just
Rashawn Gary was what, like a top 15 pick, and he
He's
hasn't.
12. No, he's been good, dude. He's been like going
He
crazy.
improved a lot.
He's going
This
dumb.
year he's starting to be.
Yeah, like he's better than Preston Smith. And then I think like in the last 5 weeks,
I mean, it's not
he
hard to
was
be
like-
better than Preston Smith
Yeah,
unless you're up
it's-
with.
right,
Yeah, but he was like in the last 5 weeks, I think PFF graded him like the second highest pass rusher or something.
Okay,
I don't know,
but
something
when
like
you
that.
look at
Like-
when you look at his receiving, he has Devontae Adams, and then he has a bunch of scrubs. That is like that's his receiving option. Like Tanyan is decent. You put Tanyan on another team, that dude is like 3rd string, bro. Like Aaron Rodgers makes these undrafted players them. Like Lazard would not start on another team. MVS cannot hold on to the ball. Like they
he
do
can't
not
even
want
catch the ball.
Yeah, he can't even
yes.
catch the ball.
Literally blew you a game.
I don't know. He still had 800 yards. And still went off against the
Did he?
Bucks.
I mean, he had
Yeah,
800 yards
and he
because of
went-
A-Rod.
He
Yeah.
went off against
yeah,
the Bucks
A-Rod,
too.
bro.
He had
All
800
right,
yards
look,
himself.
yeah,
His quarterback
we
was
need-
the MVP that year.
Yeah.
At least we're trying to help him. Like we drafted a wide receiver this year, but I don't know what happened last year.
I
Finally.
just did a fact check. It was 690 yards. So.
Oh, so
Oh,
he's lying.
wow.
So-
My
bro,
bad.
bro,
My bad.
that is almost as many yards as Darnell Mooney, bro. And you're talking about MVS. MVS can't even hold on to the ball. MVS literally his only responsibility is to run go routes and then catch the ball, and he can't even do that.
And get double-digit drops every season.
Listen,
Oh.
the
That's
dude
what he
is
does.
athletic. MVS is very fast. The
Mhm.
dude is an athletic freak, but he's always beats out the corners, but he can't catch the ball for it. He's always open.
Yeah.
He gets
I
the
mean,
ball in his hands, but he can't.
Dude,
hold
even
on.
when he catches the ball and he's wide open, you still think he's gonna drop it. And like half of the time, it looks like he thinks he's gonna drop it. Like he's
Oh
like,
yeah, he has mental. Yeah,
catching
he
it like
definitely
that.
mentally he's holding himself back too.
Yeah, I
MVS
think
was a
he can do
5th
that.
round pick, right?
Yeah.
Anyone
Okay,
who's
so
like
that's not fair.
6'3" and runs under a 4.4 though, and going in the 5th round, obviously is gonna have issues
Mhm.
because
That's
that's
true.
just not normal.
But
Yeah.
other than MVS, I think that the Packers are just like disrespectful. You have 30. I don't know. Maybe I don't understand how they're going through this same situation when they did with Brett Favre. Like, did they not learn anything from the Brett Favre situation when he was leaving?
Yeah.
I think
That's
this is
weird.
different than Brett Favre, dude.
Mhm.
Brett
You
Favre
also gotta-
wasn't.
Yeah,
He
Brett
was
Favre was
good,
not the
but like he
MVP.
was also like leading the league in turnovers every year, so you could blame
True.
him for a lot of the
Yeah.
losses that they had. I
Aaron
mean, Aaron
Rodgers-
Rodgers just came off of an MVP season, led the team to the NFC Championship.
I don't know.
I think it's
when Rodgers threw
different.
that one interception in the NFC Championship, dude, that lost him the game, bro.
yeah, that was the nail. in
And
the
it was
coffin.
when it was on a penalty as well, so it shouldn't have been an interception. But dude, man, when Rodgers is not, the Packers fan base, so even you included, when Rodgers is not Superman, they're like, yo, he's a choker. he doesn't he can't be have like all this drama. He doesn't deserve it or all this stuff. So like what is your opinion on that? Do you think that Rodgers like did not contribute?
I think he did. I think he did everything that he could, but you can't say that like every single NFC Championship loss was because of everybody else on the Packers.
No,
him.
he definitely has like
think-
like a little like a portion of blame. Like, but I mean, or like little to zero.
I think the average points allowed for the Packers in NFC Championship games though is in the 30 points per game. So
Yeah, no, when they lose in like in I saw the stat, it was like in Aaron Rodgers playoff losses, the average amount of points given up was like 36.4, somewhere around that range. And that's insane because you look at Tom Brady, like his defense holds like Pat Mahomes' Chiefs to like 9 points. Like he has like all these other quarterbacks, their defense has come to play for them. And then the Packers, every single year, there's just some part of the defense that gets exposed. Like in 2019, that D-line was doing nothing. They were not stopping Mostert. And then in this year, you have Kevin King, and then you also have Zadarius Smith and all the other members of the D-line. They cannot get Brady. They didn't even give him pressure, bro. Watching that entire game, he had all the time to throw.
Nah,
Yeah, but I think a lot of that you have to give props to the Bucks offensive line.
Yeah, that's true.
But both of the picks were off pressure though. I think one of them was like when.
Bro, those picks were literally just Tom Brady being like, "I'm up. I'm just gonna throw the ball up."
I mean, still like 2 picks and you don't get.
He had 3 in the second half.
He had 3.
Yeah, 3. I mean, the defense, other than Kevin King, like we gave him.
I don't know, man. Zadarius Smith was a
3
ghost,
picks?
dude.
Kevin
The
King, like,
defense played fine besides Kevin King, in my opinion.
Yeah, like,
Kevin
and
King
second
let
half,
up like
King
2
just blew.
touchdowns.
that's why we
really-
drafted Eric Stokes,
Come on,
so he can
bro.
have speed, bro. Because Kevin King was getting burned on every single play. The dude's like tweaking hard.
I think he was.
I-
and that's
I don't know. I think that Aaron Rodgers, like I think the whole like the media is blowing it out of proportion. I also think I kind of changed my mind about Aaron Rodgers and how he's handling things. I guess he can't really do anything in the situation other than just stay quiet. But I don't like how he's liking posts on Twitter. I don't like that.
Bro, he's liking
so
posts about
annoying.
Star Wars.
That's still
And like he's liking.
No.
Okay, I got a question. If you had to choose between Goot, because there have been reports saying that Rodgers wants Goot out, like just like we're just like
That's not
alleged.
true.
It's alleged. It's just like reports. It's not.
Right.
It's not.
Don't.
Nothing's 100%
Play
true.
along with it.
Just
Yeah, just play along because nothing's 100% true until Aaron Rodgers comes out and says it. If you had to choose between Aaron Rodgers and Goot, who are you choosing?
I'm choosing Goot.
Oh,
Oh my god.
There's no way.
Dude, I don't. If
You're
look,
There's no way
the
you can
thing is-
actually say that.
the thing is, Goot. He turned our team around from 6-9-1 to 13-3 twice.
Bro,
2
you guys
times.
had
Wait,
2
wasn't that
losing
Aaron
seasons
Rodgers
in the past
coming back?
decade.
by making key
Wait,
draft
wasn't that
signings.
Aaron
I don't-
Rodgers coming back?
Why would you? No, Aaron Rodgers. He
Aaron
went from
Rodgers was there, but it was
Yeah.
it was losing Mike McCarthy
no.
and bringing in a good head coach.
Yeah, and who brought in the head coach? Who brought in that amazing head coach? Gutekunst. I think that
No, you're giving the GM too much credit.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, the
Dude.
GM is not like some mastermind that can change
Look.
your record to 13-3.
Yeah.
Like,
I
I
think
just-
that you should never fire a GM that makes you go from like 6-9-1 to 13-3 twice. I don't think you
I
can fire
agree.
any GM.
I think Goose should stay and Aaron Rodgers should leave. I agree.
As
Yeah.
a Bears fan. As a Bears
I
fan.
don't think Aaron Rodgers
Yeah.
should leave either. I think they should both stay.
No, wait.
Yeah.
I'm just confused. Like, what has Goot won you a ring?
No.
Okay, Aaron Rodgers has.
Yeah, but
That is
You
true.
realize that, right? You
Aaron
remember
Rodgers,
that?
Aaron Rodgers won that ring with also like an elite defense and an elite offense. Like, with like
Yes.
like
wow.
I
Okay,
think-
but
I
think
flipping
with
that,
Aaron
flipping
Rodgers-
that, flipping that.
the team. the
Why can't
2020
Goot build up a good defense?
He
Why can't he do
is.
it?
He's been dude, he's
He's
been
working on it. He hasn't been in there that long, so it's
Like,
not fair
yeah.
to slander Goots.
At least he
like,
fired Mike
mm,
Patine.
Like Goot has made
Yeah.
Goot had like the Jair Alexander selection. That was Goot. Ted Thompson before Goot could not draft a cornerback for his life, bro. Actually, he did draft Casey Hayward, but he wasn't even good on the Packers. I don't know.
He was
But-
okay with you guys, but then he came to the Chargers. And
Yeah, and he just
a
started
good
going
team.
crazy.
Yeah, we
Became
every
all-pro.
secondary player we had under Ted Thompson, he did horrible. But when Gutekunst, Kevin King wasn't Goot, by the way. That was Ted Thompson.
Listen,
So,
I,
But he re-signed him.
yeah, he did
Oh,
resign.
that is true.
We
He
did
did
resign him,
resign
but
him.
that was a band-aid though, because we
I
can't. we're not
I
gonna
think
have
the
a.
Still really
Packers
signed
need to
him.
get a linebacker. I think the Packers need to get a solid linebacker to lead that defense because they always get these like
Yeah.
late round undrafted people to play linebacker, and then they just don't really do that much.
It's why
Yeah,
the
I
run
Really,
defense is
I
always
don't
bad.
understand why we don't address it, but I guess that's what they want. Maybe Joe Barry will change it because he likes.
Well,
he
one
likes to
thing-
develop linebackers.
One thing I want to say is, why do you pick Goot if he's the dude who picked Jordan Love?
Yeah,
Because that
Alright,
means you're okaying that pick.
he's
That's
Jordan Love
pretty bad.
truther.
The Jordan Love thing, I don't even know if I like Jordan Love. I don't like the pick either.
Dude,
But
21 touchdowns, 17 interceptions in his most recent
wouldn't-
season that he's played football.
But if you look at the season before, he went crazy, like 33-7. I think also he has
But
like
that shows that he
33 and
regressed.
7 isn't even that good.
That's because he regressed because literally everybody on his team left and they switched coordinators.
Oh, so
stand
he
by
had
that.
so his everyone on his
So
team left, and he still had to play second graders.
Huh?
He
Yeah,
faces adversity and crumbles. Is what
Yeah,
you're saying.
so
Mhm.
when he's gonna be
What?
down with,
Oh, that is true.
he's gonna be down 14 points because Packers defense is just gonna let up points like they always do in the playoffs.
I just don't understand
he's
how you
just
can
gonna
pick
crumble.
Goot. How you can pick Goot over A-Rod when A-Rod is the reason you guys are the #1 offense. You take away Rodgers, that team, like, I'm being generous. That team goes from 13, 14 wins to 4 wins.
No, not
Yes, it
4.
does. Yes,
Dude,
4 or 5.
Or
Matt.
that's not
No,
true.
like,
Why did Rodgers? Why did
They have a
Rodgers?
good offensive line.
Why did Rodgers go freaking 13-3 when Mike McCarthy was there?
Why did he go what?
Why did he go 6-9-1 when Mike McCarthy was there and he played the whole season?
Well, I mean,
Why-
that season the Bears were dominating. That season the Vikings were good too.
How many interceptions did Rodgers throw that season?
He threw. I think he went 25. It was like the Mitchell Trubisky's like best season. That was his record.
Yeah, he had somewhere around that range. Like maybe I think it was maybe 26-6, 26-4, something like that.
Still good. I mean, your defense was absolutely like horrendous that season.
there was just a lot of
And then the
things
next
wrong.
season, we went.
Yeah.
The
I
next
mean, I
season,
think
I mean,
saying the Packers would be a 4-win team's a little outrageous, just because look at how many plays where the Packers had like a wide open.
Oh my
schemed
god,
play.
dude, it was actually much better. He went 25-2 in 2018, bro. That's insane.
He was the reason why you guys won games.
Yeah.
There was no one else on that team that
but
beat
then,
you.
but
besides-
then Goot went out and made free agent signings. Darius Smith, Preston Smith, Adrian Amos. He signed Rashawn Gary, Darnell Savage. He drafted Elton Jenkins, and then we went Domi.
No,
Oh,
Goots
and then
had-
Goot.
Aaron Rodgers had MVP.
Goot.
Yeah. And yeah, you're
Rodgers-
forgetting Aaron Rodgers had a
Rodgers
top 3
no
quarterback
matter what.
season of all time.
No, that was the year before, bro. I'm talking about the year before.
Ah.
The first season 3. That's when Rodgers wasn't even doing like that much, even though he was
No, he was doing a lot.
amazing.
He
I mean,
was doing
he
a
wasn't.
lot.
He was doing a lot.
Touchdowns were coming on the ground.
Yeah,
That was the big difference.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is true. Yeah. Aaron Jones had a record
Yeah,
there.
Abdul, but there's no way that you could have a 4-win team with that Packers team.
I think
without-
their team
without
is
Rodgers.
good. Maybe 4 was a little
Devontae
harsh.
Adams gets open, no matter, and it's not hard for a quarterback
think-
to throw to a wide open
I say
player. dude.
17
It
games
depends. It
in, we
depends.
go-
If
we
we're
go
if we're
9
putting
wins.
Jordan Love on this team, I think that it's a 5-win
But
team.
dude, what if
I
Jordan
think
Love
it's
is
an
good
8-9
though?
team.
What if he's
Yeah,
like
I'm gonna
okay?
say, like,
8 or 9?
It's not gonna be
Yeah.
that. You guys are
I
already.
don't think
assuming that
I don't think
Jordan
the surrounding cast, other than Aaron Rodgers, is very impressive.
Bro,
Devontae's
can I make my
amazing.
Their
case?
offensive line is crazy. They have crazy running backs, and Devontae Adams is still crazy.
Jordan,
And a
okay,
good play caller.
you're acting
Matt
like Jordan Love.
Yeah.
LaFleur schemed a lot of open
They won't get
plays.
the throws. They won't
Our
get the
line is good too.
Like
Our
Tanyan
running
was
back-
always open when he caught his touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tunyon had like 6 wide open touchdowns, and I mean like wide open.
I also don't think you're acting like Jordan Love is gonna be like the worst
I
quarterback
saw the
of all
videos,
time.
man.
It's just
All he
the
needs to
I saw the
do.
videos.
He's a rookie QB under Matt LaFleur's system where he has an amazing O line. He has like top 10 running back,
The O line
he's
took a hit
top 10
when
wide receiver. Jordan Love doesn't have to do much in his first year if he plays. Like
He's not
right,
gonna
like,
do anything if
like
Aaron Rodgers.
LaFleur's not gonna make him drop bombs like he does to Rodgers. He's probably gonna let him be
the defense in 2020 was still allowing a decent amount of points. So my reasoning is when you take away Rodgers, who can drop 40 on any given Sunday, the team is going to take a huge hit, and that's why I think that they go from like a 13-win team to like 5.
Your defense will get worse. Your defense will
The
get worse.
defense is going to be on the field 24/7. They're going to feel what the Bears feel.
We also gotta consider that Rodgers the year before he I think he had like half the number of touchdowns because it was the first year of LaFleur's offense, and then next year literally the whole offense got used to the system, along with him being pissed, is what made him play
Yeah,
better. So I
and
think
it
it's
was also Aaron Jones just going crazy that year, scoring touchdowns.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Jones also a
He had
top
20
five guy.
touchdowns that year, right?
He
Yeah.
led the league with Derrick Henry.
but we still didn't have as many yards as we did this year though.
Mhm.
Like like Aaron Jones still had like 1,000 something.
Either way, like this entire situation, I just want Rodgers to go to the Broncos because I just want to watch. I want to watch
Please
that
no,
weekly
dude.
quarterback matchup.
Bro,
Oh,
I
no,
do
Aaron
not want
Rodgers,
that.
Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert division would be.
And Derek
Really?
Carr. Derek Carr's
Even
in there
Derek
too.
Carr, who's like an average quarterback.
Derek
Really?
Carr's not
Yeah.
average. Derek Carr is
No, he's
Derek
average.
Carr's an average quarterback.
He's 100% average. But it would probably be the most fun division to watch, hands down.
Yeah.
Dude,
I
it's
would-
already extremely fun to watch, at least in my opinion.
Honestly, only the Chargers,
And the
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Sometimes the Raiders and Chiefs games go crazy.
Dude,
Other than
the
that,
Raiders, when they play against good teams, play insanely good. I
they
don't
play-
know what
yeah,
it
they
is.
play bad to bad teams, and they play
Yeah.
good to good teams.
They play
Yeah.
that level.
They play to their level, which
But
is
I don't think it's
Yeah.
realistic at all that
Yeah,
Packers gonna trade Rodgers.
he
or-
probably will be their quarterback day one.
I still think it's still gonna work out with the Packers and Rodgers.
Yeah,
hope
most
not,
maybe
honestly.
situations end
I
up
feel
with
like
the quarterback on their same team, just from what
Yeah.
I've seen. In
Yeah.
like Russell Wilson, bro. When Russell Wilson got pissed,
Mhm.
I don't know. I
But
think
Russell Wilson
I think
really.
it's a completely different situation than like the Russell Wilson. Yeah.
I don't think that it's like impossible to rehash like the situation and get both sides to come to an agreement. It's literally just as easy as saying, okay, Aaron Rodgers, you want some say in the team, you want to restructure your contract, and that's it. And I'm sure Rodgers will be perfectly fine staying with the Packers because honestly, like who was expecting Aaron Rodgers to not stay in Green Bay for the rest of his career and retire there?
yeah, no one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
didn't really expect it. I just want him gone. Just fuel the fire some more, man. Like some more tweets, man.
My entire life, I've just experienced pain from Green Bay quarterbacks. So
It has to end.
Hey, but if Jordan Love is like a Hall of Fame QB,
I
like
actually have,
Rodgers,
I actually have like 100.
I would-
I've hoped that Jordan Love is gonna be trash.
I would laugh so hard
I
if
have
Jordan
so
Love
much
is
faith in
good.
Jordan Love being trash.
I don't know why you guys have so much faith.
I watched his college tapes. I honestly don't see anything good in it besides him just having a good arm.
Yeah, I mean, plus it's also the fact that he plays in the worst NCAA Division One football
Yeah,
conference there is.
he has a, let's say, the ceiling of Mitchell Trubisky or Rick Roseman.
Okay.
Bro, I can't
That's
I can't wait for
fine.
Jordan Love.
I
The
think
day
we
Jordan
should
Love
just move
plays-
on from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
okay.
great place to mic drop.
Jordan Love gonna be the GOAT, future GOAT.
No, he's not. Now we're gonna be starting our new segment weekly. We're gonna be talking about divisional dive-ins. So this week we're gonna be talking about the NFC North as a whole. We're gonna be talking about the Bears, who they drafted, and their offseason moves. Staying with the Vikings, Packers, and Lions. And to first start off with the Bears, some offseason moves that I liked with the Bears were getting Marquise Goodwin, wide receiver who used to play with the 49ers. I also like the Damian Williams signing. They're both 1-year signings. This is a trending theme with the Bears this offseason, signing 1-year contracts to veterans, taking advantage of the COVID-19 salary cap and all that. But then something I really don't like was the Kyle Fuller releasing, because Kyle Fuller is a top 10 cornerback. He's on that edge, top 10 cornerback. And that is a devastating loss to the defensive back, like our secondaries. But overall, it's been a decent offseason.
I mean,
Can I
I didn't
ask-
like the CP one either. Cordell
Can I
Patterson.
Oh,
ask
we lost.
something?
What? What's up?
Why does Ryan Pace love tight ends so much? Why did he decide to sign Darren Fells to a 1-year deal?
He did?
Wait, no. Darren
No.
Fells did not. No way, we didn't sign.
Hmm.
I think
That's
Darren
what
Fells
the
went to the
line-
Lions.
I thought he went.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I think he's
Okay.
in
Yeah.
the line.
He's actually been calm with tight ends. He's been more.
I'm surprised that Jimmy Graham's still on the roster.
Yeah,
Honestly,
he's
Oh,
doing
he
the thing
is?
with offensive linemen now, where he just signs a bunch of offensive linemen. He's gonna have a
Yeah.
battle with them in the offseason, and whoever survives.
I think
Did the
people have
Bears
been
draft
knocking
a
on.
cornerback?
What's up?
Did they draft a cornerback?
Yeah, we drafted this guy named Thomas Graham Jr. He was with Oregon. We
He's
drafted
my
him in like the fifth. Yeah, this is Omar's guy. Omar's guy, like he thinks that he's gonna be one of the best, like from this
Well,
draft.
no, I think he's gonna be the steal
The
from
steal, like
the
the Darnell Mooney.
like a Darnell Mooney of the draft
Yeah.
for us.
People like to hate on the Bears so much for like their offseason moves because obviously we signed Andy Dalton to a 1-year contract and we're tweeting out quarterback one with a picture of him throwing. But I think that the Bears, obviously Fuller was a huge loss. Fuller was not, but they made up. I think that they made up for it, and people will like to say, "Oh, the Bears are going to be terrible this year because they lost Fuller." But then you think they got all these players. They got a bunch of defensive players. They got Marquise Goodwin, Damian Williams. They signed Demir Bird. I so far like this offseason by the Bears.
I like
Wait,
this offseason too for us.
Who's
'cause,
your guys' cornerback too?
Desmond
Jalen
Trufant.
Desmond Trufant, Jalen Johnson's gonna be the quarterback one.
Yeah, and
Trufant's gonna be our
Trufant's number 2.
Yeah, that's just a little.
Eddie
He
Jackson.
had an
and
off
who?
year. Okay, he was with
He was
the bottom. He was with the worst defense in the
He
league.
was also the Lions, but he was also injured.
He was
with,
also injured too. I think
I know,
I'm
but
not-
having a second-year cornerback and
I
Desmond
don't know. I
Trufant
feel like-
as your two main cornerbacks is a little
I have faith in Jalen
scary.
Johnson.
yeah.
I have faith
Yeah,
in
I mean,
Jalen
but the
Johnson.
thing is, like, you think about it, and it's like, all right, Jalen Johnson's gonna have to be guarding Devontae Adams 2 times a year, and then he's also gonna have to be guarding
Justin Jefferson.
what's his name,
Justin Jefferson.
Justin
Adam
Jefferson
Thielen,
or Adam
Adam
Thielen.
Thielen.
and Devontae Smith.
I
Smith.
don't know how Sean decides because we got a new defensive coordinator.
That's true.
So I don't know how Sean decides going to do it because before we didn't have where like our cornerback one would shadow a wide
Yeah,
receiver.
we played zone, and Sean
like-
Sean Desai, he's a safeties coach, so I think that the our like our defensive backs and like our secondary will have a decent year. Like I'm banking on Eddie Jackson having like a good bounce back year.
Because like before because Devontae Adams used to line up on Jalen Johnson's side a few times. AJ Brown used to line up on him. Like, all those wide receiver ones used to line up on him, and he used to lock him down pretty well. So Jalen Johnson still has proven himself in the NFL to lock down decent wide receivers.
Mhm.
The one thing I'm worried about is Desmond Trufant being healthy because the
Yeah,
dude's always
true.
gets injured, and he's also old. So
He's
that's
30.
why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's
So
pretty
I that's why I'm kind of just hoping we see what we can do with cornerbacks that we have. We did get Kendall Vildor, who showed some flashy plays, but he's also just like a 4th, 5th round cornerback that we got last year.
Mhm.
So I mean we got Deion Bush too. Wait, no,
Yeah,
DHC,
we-
Deion Bush is safety.
But then we also we re-signed Artie Burns. Artie Burns could be a starter.
Oh, that's true. Because Artie Burns was out all
Yeah,
last
he tore his
season.
ACL last year.
So we'll see if Artie Burns too. He's gonna have to compete in the spot.
Do you guys think that the Bears are gonna regress on defense or improve?
I'm gonna be honest. I think it's gonna be the same or even better because Chuck Pagano limited this defense.
That's true.
Chuck
Chuck Pagano's-
Pagano was not a good defensive coordinator, and we have homegrown Sean Desai leading the defense. The defense, it was still top 10 last year, and the defense was on the field 24/7. They had a huge losing streak. We brought in. We're banking on a bounce back year on several players. We're hoping Robert Quinn is better this year because he had one of the worst years of his career with Chuck Pagano last year. We're banking on Eddie Jackson coming back and having a better year with Sean Desai. So I have hope. I think Kyle Fuller was still a huge loss, but I think that the defense will be good this year.
Eddie Jackson only did bad the second half of the season last year.
Mhm.
He was solid the first half of the
I
season,
mean, he
but
just forgot how to tackle. Like,
the entire defense fell off in the second half of the season, and
Yeah.
I think that's a coaching play with Chuck Pagano. Chuck Pagano, I explained this before, and me and Abdul do this other podcast, Shybers Blitz, where Chuck Pagano likes to do old type defensive schemes, and it doesn't work in today's generation of offense. So that's why he got picked apart in the Packers game with Matt LaFleur. Literally, he knew everything Chuck Pagano was going to do. So Chuck Pagano definitely isn't a good coach in today's era. Hopefully, Sean Desai can be a good coach for us since he is Vic Fangio's protege, and we did choose him over Jay Rodgers. And Jay Rodgers, I think he went to the Chargers as defensive coordinator. So
He's not our defensive coordinator. He's the linebackers coach, I think.
linebackers coach,
He's definitely on the Chargers. I think he
Jay
just
Rodgers was our
directly
D-line
came-
coach, right?
he was a D line coach,
Or
and
maybe he's our D-line coach. He did
Yeah.
come to the Chargers, though.
he was extremely good for our D line. But
Mhm.
we chose Sean Desai because
He's-
he's smarter in our
He's
He
Fangio's
has-
protege
Vic
or
Fangio's
prodigy.
protege,
Yeah.
pretty much. So he knows Vic Fangio's schemes more than Jay Rodgers does. So hopefully he could bring in that Vic Fangio-esque type defense that he did in 2018.
Fangio's schemes always seem to work well in the NFL. You've seen a lot of his coaching tree start to branch out now into other teams. He's had his impact on the Rams, the Chargers. He was on the 49ers a long time ago. So just he's had that impact everywhere he's been. I think that this is going to be the most balanced I've seen the Bears roster in that like Ryan Pace era. I think that their offense is finally adding pieces and going to have a lot of different looks and weapons that they're going to be able to use. It's not going to be solely throw to Allen Robinson, run with Montgomery. They have a lot more running backs to use, a lot more receivers to use. So I think that there is some excitement for Bears fans for the offense. But to answer Soul's question, I do see the defense digressing, and it's solely because of age. I know a lot of the Bears' best players are getting on that older side, and Akeem Hicks getting older, Cleo Mack getting older, Quinn getting older. So like I don't predict any of those guys to just get better, even though the defensive scheme might be better just because of age. But I do think that they'll still be good on defense. I'm not saying they'll be bad. I'd probably still in that top 10, definitely top 15.
I just think that the important thing to remember is since this offense should be better, the defense is going to be off the field more, which is
Yeah.
important
Yeah.
because they get some rest. A lot of the times, if you looked at time of possession, the Bears were significantly lower in time of possession. So it just requires a lot more of asking your defense. Requires, and then you would see in the second half of games, the Bears defense falling off, and then the second half of the season even amplified that more, dude, because
Yeah,
they were
they would
playing
give up.
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
they would give up. They'd be gassed in games. I mean, Akeem Hicks, you would just see him just grasping for breath always. And you'd see him with Cleo Mack, they'd just be all be just out of breath, gassed out because they're just constantly on the field. They're exhausted.
Yeah,
You
it's
can tell
demoralizing.
they don't want they don't want to try anymore because they're always trying.
Hmm.
And there's a point where they just snap and they can't do anymore. Like what more can they do? They've already done it all and it's not working since they're still losing games.
And
What
to
is it?
oh wait,
Sorry, I was gonna ask a question. What does it take this year for Matt Nagy to get fired? I think Pace might still have his job even if they're okay, but what do you think it is for Matt Nagy?
I think Pace, because I mean Pace has had two solid drafts in the past 2 years, and so far he's done all
I
right.
think bottom 5 offense.
I think
If this
yeah,
team, if this team is a bottom 5 offense this year, then he's gone. If
Play
Justin
call?
Fields,
Bottom 10,
if
'cause
Justin
they
Fields
shouldn't
doesn't
be bottom 5. They
Yeah.
should be better than that.
if
Yeah.
to go off this, like we're talking about our favorite offseason moves, like the Bears in the draft, they address so many needs of position on offense. So Matt Nagy should improve, or Matt Nagy should have a better offense than he did last year. Justin Fields is a quarterback who's pro ready, who might start week 1. We don't know. We have Tevin Jenkins to boost up the O line. We recently cut Charles Sumner Jr., but that O line should be better than it was because in 2020 there were so many injuries. There were so many. We had our best O lineman in James Daniel get injured, but we also have so many pieces. We drafted running backs. We have brought in receivers. This offense should be like I'm gonna be honest. This offense should be like around that 15 range this year.
I mean, hey,
Yeah.
we got a solid wide receiving core. Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney. We got Marquise Goodwin coming in, competing with Breda, the wide receiver 3, and one of them will be wide receiver 4. We got good receiving core. We got a good running back.
Komet,
Yeah, we got Komet too, and
Graham.
David Graham too is also just a red zone threat. We also have David Montgomery, Tariq Cohen, Damian Williams, and then we got Khalil Herbert, and we also got Larry Borum, another offensive lineman in the draft.
Mhm.
So we have defensive pieces. This is Matt Nagy's. He has no excuses at this
Yeah,
point.
that's
He
true.
has his quarterback in Justin Fields. He chose to get Andy Dalton as the veteran quarterback. He even said he can get 10 wins with Andy Dalton this year, which I highly doubt.
Yeah, I
But
doubt that too.
this all depends on if Matt Nagy he has everything he needs. It depends on how Matt Nagy can do with his play calling and what he can do with this offense. If for some reason it doesn't work out for the first 6-7 games, I think they should fire him without any thought. Because
Like
in the past
mid-season?
mid-season, oh yeah, if he doesn't work out by mid-season, they easily fire. Because if it didn't work out last year, and it didn't work out 2 years ago, because the only season he did well was in 2018 when he won Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
But 2019 he fell off, and we had a horrible offense. Last year, I mean, everyone saw how disgusting our offense was,
Mhm.
and that was just also play calling. I mean, Nick Foles came out and said, Matt Nagy was telling me to do this play call, and I would have to walk into the pocket so I could throw. and I knew that I was gonna get sacked because I didn't have enough time because the offensive line was pushing back. And I would tell Matt Nagy, but Matt Nagy wouldn't change the plays. So what does that say about Matt Nagy? He's a
That's
bad
true.
play caller, but he does design good plays. I mean, you do see Darnell Mooney always wide open. You do see Anthony Miller always wide open, even though Anthony Miller is very immature for as a wide receiver.
Hmm.
I think he has a lot of potential, but the dude just doesn't want to put in any work ethic. And then you do see Allen Robinson also wide open. You just need somebody to throw him the ball. You could say, yeah, offensive line was bad. You could say Mitchell Trubisky was also bad, but how much does that?
It's upgraded now, so he doesn't have an excuse anymore.
He
But
doesn't
that's
have.
the thing. Good
Man, he's
coaches,
stubborn,
they
bro.
don't get those excuses. Like Kyle Shanahan had to deal with like C.J. Beathard and
That's true.
Nick Mullins, and you see their
Yeah,
offense
they
still
still won
produce
games.
numbers. Like it's not like top 5 offense, but they're still competing to like be relevant in
Mhm.
games.
I mean, the Chiefs
this-
won a playoff game with Patrick Mahomes getting injured.
Yeah,
And
that's what I'm saying. Like the best coaches, they don't
Yeah.
deserve excuses. Like I
But
don't know.
Nagy's not
I
even
hate
close to
them.
that range. Like
then-
Nagy
he's
is
not.
not even close to that range.
Yeah,
I-
but the thing was, Matt Nagy was supposed to be an offensive guru when he came
Oh,
to
I
the
hate
Bears
that
as a
phrase so
head coach.
much. Everyone calls him the offensive guru. With the
whatever.
Well,
last
that's
year,
what he was supposed to
Yeah,
be,
it's-
but
it's
he
what he was
just
supposed
hasn't
to-
shown any
He's
of
supposed to be a
it.
special teams guru, bro.
the last year, towards the second half of the season, I think our offense picked it up, and that's when Bill Lazor was calling plays. And Matt Nagy said that he was going to resume calling plays this year. So I don't
You
know
guys
how
played
that's going to
bad
work.
teams during the second half of the season.
Our
That's why you
offensive
guys did
line-
well.
Our offensive
Our
line
line.
though did get better when we moved Mustaford toward center and Cody Whitehair to guard. Our offensive line did get better, and you saw that with Montgomery actually breaking through holes, which
Mhm.
we never had before. Even when we were versing the Titans, who had the worst
That's true.
defense, we couldn't open up any holes. We had a hole.
We had
they-
what? We had 3 points. We were down like 2 scores going into the fourth, like against one of the worst defenses. Like,
I mean,
there's-
something I hated that we got free agent acquisition was Elijah Wilkinson. He was the offensive lineman with
oh,
the Broncos, who people are saying is a Rashad Coward 2.0. I do not want another Rashad Coward on this team. I had to suffer so much seeing that traffic cone go out there and just stand still and just having seen so many defensive linemen go by. I don't want I hope he gets cut. I hope he gets beaten by Larry Borom or whoever practice squad.
it's just for depth. It's like they give him like $1 million and it's a 1-year deal, so it's definitely just like depth.
Rashad Coward, then you should not be in the league at all. You should not be offensive lineman. You should go back to football.
Alright, I think we should go to the next team.
Yeah, we definitely talked about. There's not going to be as much substance with the next couple of teams, except for the Packers, who Sol's going to talk about. But I think we should talk about the Vikings. I like some of the Vikings that they moved, like my Vikings moves that they made this offseason. I like Patrick Peterson, even though he's getting on like the older side. I think that's definitely a necessity with the cornerback position, because they had a cornerback who got arrested, Gladney. I don't know if you heard about that story, but
Oh,
Yeah.
they had that, and then they also, their cornerback. They also have Cam Dantzler. I like Cam Dantzler. He's a solid rookie, but he's going into his sophomore year. So adding Patrick Peterson to this defense was a good move. I also like that they released Dan Bailey, because that dude is like the Cody Parkey for the Vikings. I don't know if you've seen like the compilation of the Bucks game where he missed like 4 or 5 kicks and he single-handedly lost him that game, but that was a solid release.
He used to be good, but
Yeah.
not anymore.
Yeah.
He used to be solid.
Last year
So
was
was
just a
Cody
really
Parkey.
bad year
Yeah.
for him.
I thought that Patrick Peterson was actually a very good free agent acquisition because they needed help in that secondary, and then he's going to come in, bring that veteran presence. I mean, he was multiple All-Pro, multiple Pro Bowler. The dude just a dog on the cornerback position. So I thought it was really good.
I really liked their draft picks too this year.
Oh, yeah.
I thought they did a
hit,
really
they
good
hit.
job drafting.
They drafted
Christian Darrisaw and Wyatt Davis are the two that came to my head because they were both offensive linemen. Dude, that's gonna be a very scary team to go against because of that offensive line. Yeah, dude, if you get Dalvin Cook big holes, or he's getting more holes, he's gonna produce more. It's hard to imagine Dalvin Cook producing more to begin with.
Mhm.
But the fact that, like, if Wyatt Davis is if he's a good guard and he's opening gaps or holes for Dalvin Cook to hit, and Christian Darrisaw is going to provide ample protection for Kirk Cousins, that offense is going to be very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I think so. I also like I like the Kellen Mond pick. I was a Kellen Mond fan because I thought that the Bears were going to snag him in the third if we didn't have the opportunity to get a quarterback in Justin Fields. I like Kellen Mond. I've been watching like, some of his tape. He played in the SEC. He went 8-5 last year, but that's a solid record when you're playing in the SEC. And there's not many notable other players from Texas A&M that got drafted. And just looking at his pro day, I think that I've seen some comments, reporters' comments. He does everything well that Kirk Cousins does not do well. And if they're getting their franchise or quarterback in the future, because if Kirk Cousins, his contract ends in next year, not this year, but his contract is up soon. If they got a solid pick in there because there was a quarterback run in the third round, if Kellen Mond can seem to produce, then I think that's a solid pick.
Yeah, I love the idea of, as long as you don't have like a top 5 or a top 10 quarterback, just keep testing your luck and maybe even the later rounds with quarterbacks, because it's not gonna hurt taking Kellen Mond. Like, they got that pick for free essentially because they still got Darrison the first when they traded back, and that was the Jets pick. So really good move there. I think on both sides of the ball we're gonna see an improvement for the Vikings because their O-line got stronger, as you guys touched on, and the injuries, their defense, their star players were pretty much injured the whole season. Danielle Hunter is one of the best edge rushers in the leagues, and I think just having that premier pass rusher back just helps everyone on the defense, including the cornerbacks, especially because they don't have to cover people for like 5 seconds. Then.
Yeah, they still got great linebackers too, and Eric Kendricks, and then they got a good safety.
Yeah, Harrison Smith.
But they also lost Anthony Harris, is that his name? To the Eagles.
Anthony Barr, I think.
Anthony Barr. They lost him, so that's kind of a hit. But I mean, they're replacing their holes with Patrick Peterson. Hopefully they're not as injured as they were last year, because they were a middle of the pack defense that just went to the absolute bottom. They were not good last year because of all those injuries. So I can see them. They definitely will win more than what they had 6 wins last year. They were
picking it up towards the end. They were picking it up towards the end. They were kind of just like beating out some decent teams too.
Yeah, true.
Who's the number 1 receiver, you think, Jefferson or Thielen?
I think Jefferson's gonna. I like Thielen a lot, but I think Jefferson's gonna take over that number 1.
I think so too.
Like,
Because they didn't realize it at the beginning of the season. Like Kirk Cousins even said himself, we didn't know what we had in Justin Jefferson at the beginning of the season, and to have 1,400 yards is insane as a rookie. I mean, he has the most receiving yards as a rookie. And then you have Adam Thielen, who is still a solid top 25, top 20 wide receiver. And then you have Justin Jefferson, who just had the best rookie year posted. I think Justin Jefferson will be the number 1 receiver on that team.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be like a tie, basically, essentially like an even split in terms of targets and everything else. Just because Adam Thielen, he did exceptionally well last year, considering the fact that like everyone's like, oh, he's getting older. A lot of people just don't even like him to begin with. I really think that I don't know. I think Kirk Cousins and Adam Thielen have built like a really good repertoire. That is just going to be pretty even in terms of like 1A, 1B type of thing.
I mean, they worked
wide receiver 1 and 2.
Yeah, they worked it out with Stephon Diggs and Thielen when they were there. They can work it out with Jefferson and Thielen.
And Thielen had a good year. He went under the radar. He had like 14 touchdowns. Like
yeah,
he had a good year under the radar. That passing offense was really good. And then building up that O-line and having Dalvin Cook ready to go next season, they're going to be scary.
I hate the Vikings.
Yeah.
I think all 3 of you should hate the Vikings.
Yeah.
I don't like
their
Vikings, but
divisional rivals.
They're very fun to watch.
They are fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's scary to think that Dalvin Cook has the possibility to eat more than he did last year, too.
I hope not.
And it's a very real possibility.
He burnt the Packers. Like, that was horrible. Right?
That game was fun.
That was disgusting. Where he had like 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I was like,
you did not want to play Dalvin Cook in fantasy that week. That was bad.
Oh yeah, that was not fun.
Every time I looked up on the TV,
I had to play Dalvin Cook in fantasy that week.
I remember it. You were complaining because he had to play Tyler Lockett that year too in our league.
Oh, that was so bad, dude. Playing both of those, like the 2 highest fantasy points. I remember watching that game, and he was at like 47 points in the third. I'm like, dude, he's gonna beat the record by Jamal Charles.
That was so bad.
I think we can move to the Lions.
Yeah.
Let's move to
with the
Lions.
I
They
like
got J-Money.
overall. They Jamal Williams. I like the moves that the Lions have made overall. Like they had they're obviously a rebuilding franchise. They just got a new coach, a new GM. And they traded Stafford for a haul. They traded Stafford for 2 first rounders, and they also got their hopeful quarterback in Jared Goff. As we've seen, they could have drafted Justin Fields at their pick, but they're deciding to believe in Jared Goff. And I've seen reports that they wanted to they wanted to trade with other teams, but they wanted a quarterback in return. And when they couldn't provide that, then they did not take those answers. But they also let Galladay walk, which I think was smart because Galladay was. To give Galladay a $72 million contract when you're a rebuilding team would not be smart. But then they've also had some solid pickups, so I think the Lions have had a good offseason.
Yeah, I think they got Tyrell Williams a solid pickup in my opinion. I think he's a solid.
If he can stay
receiver.
healthy, he's been dealing with injuries for a
Yeah.
minute.
Like Galladay too was also just always injured as well. It's a.
That's true.
I thought that was a solid pickup. Jamal Williams was definitely a solid pickup in my opinion, especially with Kerryon Johnson. Them taking him out because with him having those injuries and then he just doesn't have that burst of speed that he once had.
Mhm.
Jamal Williams bring that power back type of ability to the Lions, and so I thought that was really solid for them.
Yeah, they also
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
they also did Rashad Perryman. He's he's like a wide receiver 3. He provides a lot of like speed and athleticism. I just want to touch on just Jared Goff. I think a lot of people are underrating how Jared Goff is. When he had a good offensive line, that's when he played his best football, and that was when the Rams almost made it to the Super Bowl that year. That was when he had a very good offensive line. What?
Yeah, he
They
did.
did make the Super Bowl that year.
Oh, was it?
2018,
Did they?
yeah. 2018
Oh,
they
yeah,
made the
yeah,
Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Yeah, but-
and
Also, he also had Sean McVay, who's an actual offensive guru
Mhm.
compared to the Lions, who did
They
they
have
have?
Anthony Lynn,
They have Anthony Lynn.
mega offensive guru.
Yeah.
Giant.
Anthony Lynn is an offensive.
Honestly-
Oh yeah, he is.
Anthony
is.
Lynn,
That's not
he
good.
lives by establish the run, and you guys can win the game. That's what he said. That's like
I-
all he would say on the Chargers.
I love Anthony Lynn.
Boring though.
Anthony Lynn,
It-
top 5 clock manager.
I love the person Anthony Lynn. I hate the coach Anthony Lynn because he's honestly a really like nice person. So it's kind of hard to trash him with like he's terrible at clock
Yeah.
management.
Not a good
Um,
coach. Yeah.
So bad.
I do like the knee chomper thing that the Lions got
Oh,
going. for
yeah.
them. I think that's like a really fun
Yeah,
thing to
He's
be
like
honest.
he's like a
Cool.
certified football guy. And I like all the moves that the Lions have made. Like they have a great draft too. Like, that's kind of
Oh, yeah.
gone a little under the radar. Like they had 7th overall and they took Penei Sewell, and that's like people love to talk about when you're a rebuilding team. You start in the trenches, and they have that really good offensive line. And then they also took a receiver in the 3rd. They also got some defensive tackles. They had a pretty good draft overall, and I could see them. If they keep hitting on picks like this in the future, they could be a winning team.
Yeah,
It's
I actually
weird.
like the
It's
picks,
weird to
but
think about.
the
It's
Lions, the Lions are the Lions.
That's
and,
true.
They're just a cursed franchise for just.
I like this new coach though. Kind
I
of.
do like. I like his energy. When they got
Yeah.
Penei Sewell, and then you just saw these dudes are just hyped up, going around high
Mhm.
five, just slamming desks and stuff. I thought I liked it. I like
That was
energy.
hype. I would
Yeah,
love
it was
that
hype.
if I saw the Chargers draft room like that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I think
I
I
look
think they have something to look forward there in
Oh
Detroit.
yeah, 100%.
I like you want the Lions to be good, bro. Like I remember when Megatron, Matt Stafford days. I remember like watching Megatron as a kid, and I would be like, "Dang man, this guy's crazy." I thought he was like a freaking. I thought like the Fox guy sports. I thought that was him. That's what
Oh, the
they were.
robot?
referring
You're
to.
talking
Yeah,
about
I was like,
the-
I was like, yeah, that's Megatron. That's why they call it Megatron. It was fun as a kid just watching him. And I like the
think-
Lions. I don't know.
with
I'd rather have.
Stafford or Megatron. Imagine if they get good without both of them. That'd be kind of
Yeah.
insane.
That would be
Yeah,
I
nice.
think
that'd
it's
be weird.
possible.
Oh,
That's the thing. The way they're starting this rebuild is strong.
It is pretty
Yeah.
strong. I like it. Now we got to go on to the last team of the division, the Green Bay Packers. Saul, take it away.
Bro, they did nothing. What am I supposed to say?
I,
They drafted people, I guess.
I honestly don't know what the Green Bay is doing. Maybe they're
Yeah.
just caught up in this Aaron Rodgers
No,
business.
Aaron Rodgers told him not. He told no one to come, and that's low key true because no one came.
But,
Hey, Aaron
they
Jones.
re-signed Kevin
Aaron
King.
Jones did resign for less money though, but
I think
look.
what it,
let me just give an overview. So we just drafted a cornerback, so he's fast. I guess he makes up for Kevin King's like slow like both Kevin King is both slow mentally and and like
Bro.
physically. Like this man
Bro, you can't be doing Kevin King like that.
Yeah.
Come on now.
and
He
processing.
deserves it a little bit.
Yeah,
That's-
he
And
did take a
processing,
ring from Rodgers.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not a good quarterback.
Yeah, no offense to Kevin King, but I mean, I hate him too. He also roasted me on an Insta Live one time. That was-
Really?
yeah, he
Oh,
did.
you made a comment and he
Did
just
I
replied
tell
to
you?
it?
Yeah, I said, why don't you have earpods? And he's like, boy, you mean AirPods? Get this dude out of here.
You
Like, I
called
swear
them
to God.
earpods?
Yeah, I didn't mean to. And then he
Yeah.
roasted me. I'm like,
Which
dude,
one
what
of
the?
you is really slow?
Well,
I'm like, man, that's why you suck.
something
But,
about the Packers, I did not like the Aaron Jones signing. I thought that was really dumb to give. Like, obviously Aaron Jones is a top running back. He's probably top 5. I think that just giving him $48 million. It was 4 years, $48 million. Why did you draft AJ Dillon? What was the purpose of drafting
thing is-
AJ Dillon?
Aaron Jones, the contract looks like worse than it actually is. I think like the first 2 years, we're only giving him like 8, like 10. I think it was 8 to 10 million, something like that. And then it's like backloaded, right? And then the last 2 years, we're giving him like an insane amount of money, so we could always just release him after 2 years.
I
if
don't
we
know
really-
why he accepted that, because I looked into the way that it's like designed, and they could literally cut him and he'll lose like 30 million or something.
Word?
dumb
Oh,
like
I did
that.
not know that.
It's a really weird construct.
Salaries are weird. So
Yeah.
they'll say that we'll pay you whatever amount, but if it's not guaranteed, then
Yeah.
they can
Then
cut you
you're
nothing.
screwed. It's kind
But
of
he
like,
Yeah.
also took less money too to go to the Packers. Like I think his agent said that they got better offers from the Dolphins and then some other team.
I
Like-
think the biggest problem with the Packers in terms of why their free agency was so lackluster was just their cap. They have a
Yeah,
lot
they
of
have
money
no-
tied up,
Next year's even
especially in
worse.
like the Smith brothers take up a lot of cap.
Bach
Mm.
and Rodgers. Are
Hey, I
fucking
think Preston Smith is gonna
running
he's gonna have a bounce back year. I really think so. I really
too.
think.
I think so too. I
I mean,
think
it can't,
that
it can't go worse.
but I also don't like that they let Lindsley walk and they paid Aaron Jones.
They couldn't pay him.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Corey Lindsey got like what? He's averaging what, 16 million a year, somewhere around that range.
That's
somewhere
like our
15
best.
to
That's
16.
like our. We're really good.
That's
at
like
drafting
what
centers.
Devonte Adams is getting paid this year.
That's the
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Like Packers just plug and play offensive linemen every year, and it
That's
seems to
true.
work
Yeah.
out for
Yeah,
them. I
especially
mean, paying
centers.
Bach makes sense because tackles are a premium position on the
Mhm.
offensive line. But the
Yeah.
rest of the guys, they kind of just plug and play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we're really good at drafting centers too. I think it's like our best position. We always draft like the freaking like best centers. So I think that was fine. And even though
But you guys really didn't do anything in this offseason.
Very,
Draft
very
wise-
boring.
we did nothing.
Wise, I
Their
think
draft
it-
was decent.
I just think you guys had like an average NFL draft.
Yeah.
It wasn't like anything amazing. It wasn't anything bad.
We could have done something though. That's a
Yeah, you could have done something, but you
I
guys
think
didn't.
work
think they need to
magic.
trade Love for some pieces, and then Rodgers will be happy, and then
yeah.
No,
We
no,
gotta-
no,
we
no, no.
gotta-
You don't understand. They got to draft
we gotta
another
end the
quarterback so
cycle.
that he can have another MVP season.
I
we
don't-
gotta
That's how
end
it
the
works.
I don't think Love has a high trade value. I don't think he has
I
like
don't
a,
think
they-
so either.
I think Love is
but
worth at the most a second.
a low second.
Dude, you couldn't get a second for him.
I
don't
think
you could
I
trade
think
him
there are
for a
some
second.
teams that are
Really?
so desperate they might give like a low second for him.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think
No
that's
way.
cute.
I
Low second.
you can
I
definitely
see
get a
him as
second.
the same tier as like a Kellen Mond and Davis Mills and
Mhm.
Kyle Trask. Like he went like I see Jordan Love as that sort of quarterback, and those dudes all went back second, early third. So I think you could.
Yeah,
finish
I would
something
say
like that.
third. I'd
I mean,
say
I-
third.
I
Okay.
can see that. Yeah.
You like to compare that to like the Aaron Rodgers one, but like Aaron Rodgers was everyone knew he was like good in college. Jordan Love is not. Well, he was. Yeah, he did good in a bad division while throwing a bunch of interceptions. So
I mean, also Aaron Rodgers. I mean, if you want to bring that up, Aaron Rodgers was also a potential one overall pick. Jordan
Yeah.
Love was
Yeah,
not even
when people
considered
talk
a
about-
top 5 pick.
People talk about how
Dude.
Rodgers was drafted like 24th or somewhere around that range. He was still the second quarterback taken. Like there was divide between him and Alex Smith for that number one. If he wasn't getting drafted one, he was getting drafted in the mid 20s. There wasn't a need.
Yeah, we didn't trade up for him. What
I
the
don't know
hell?
about that. I mean, there were some teams that definitely could have taken a quarterback,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, there were so many teams that if they could go back and draft Aaron Rodgers, they definitely would. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Rodgers wasn't the most like polished prospect, I guess. That's why they took Alex Smith because his throwing motion is a bit weird. Like he literally fixed it. Like it was like night and day. Like his throwing motion. So I guess they kind of like the Packers kind of developed him a bit under Brett Favre, but
But Aaron
uh,
Rodgers also has just like a mentality that's
Yeah,
just never been seen in
there's
the
just a
NFL.
difference.
yeah,
Yeah,
his mentality is insane, mental toughness.
So
I
I,
love how he holds his grudges.
yeah.
That's
I
like
think we
Jordan.
should, now that we've gone over every team, we give our predictions in terms of what records will
Records.
be for each team in this division.
Okay, I'm gonna go first. Okay, so with Rodgers, I think the Packers win 13 games and 4 losses, 13 and 4. I think there's around that range. The schedule is very tough. Obviously, the NFC North has to play the AFC West and NFC West, but I think that Rodgers just goes above all. Like he's insane. He's the reigning MVP. I think next would be the Vikings, and they'll get around 10 to 11 wins. I think with that healthy roster. Then for I think the third place in the division, I think the Bears win 9 or 10 games. I think if Fields starts, or if Fields comes in like a couple weeks in, I think they could win. Like you see that the Bears say we could win 10 games with Andy Dalton. I don't believe that, but I think that they could win 10 games with Justin Fields. And then the Lions are a rebuilding franchise, so I see them getting 4 to 5 wins.
See, I kind of agree with that list. I think the Green Bay Packers would get 13, 14 wins actually if Aaron Rodgers does stay,
Mm-hmm.
because they did get him. I like Amari Rodgers, so him being in that wide receiver 2 position will definitely help him out in the offense. And then they did get Stokes to help out in that defense. So I like the Packers if Aaron Rodgers does stay to be in that 13, 14 range. The Vikings, I think they would get like 10 wins, 10, 11. I think the Bears also might get just 9, 10 wins. And then the Lions get around like 6 wins. So that's just how I have it.
For me, I think the Packers are going to regress. I think we're going to get like 11, 10 wins. My reason for that, I guess, like losing back-to-back NFC championships is pretty mentally degrading, and also with Rodgers being like pissed and all this drama out, I don't think we're going to be as connected as a team anymore. I also think maybe I don't know. It really just depends on the defense, to be honest, and then just the mentality of the team.
But
We
if
all
Aaron Rodgers did play like how he does usually, without like any
Oh, yeah.
mental.
You guys should get over 10 wins,
Yeah,
guaranteed, if he plays.
yeah, I'm saying 11 to 12 for the Packers. And then I think the Vikings go like 10, 11, maybe like similar to the Packers, I think. The Bears, I don't know. I feel like I have no idea. Like I literally have no clue what the Bears' record is going to be because of Justin Fields and Andy Dalton. Like I really cannot predict what's going to happen with them. So I'm not even going to say anything about them. And then the Lions, probably 5 wins. But yeah.
Bears are the hardest to rank for sure.
Yeah, I
think
think if Justin Fields does play, we can get around 10 wins.
Same.
If Justin
Agreed.
Fields doesn't play, I think we get around 5 wins.
I don't know about
So
5. I think like 6. If Andy Dalton plays the entire season, I give him 6 wins.
I don't have high hopes on Andy.
I think that the Bears will compete no matter who's quarterback. I don't know if they'll win in like a lot of games, but let me just go with my list. So first, I have the Packers, and I think they're more a 12-5 team with the 17-game season. I think that's a fair place to put them, just because I think the division got better after free agency in the draft. Like Vikings will be a better team this year. I think the Bears did improve from last year just because of the offensive moves. If Justin Fields is their starting quarterback, then I'll have the Vikings number 2, and I think they'll be right behind the Packers at 11 wins. I think they'll be right around there. And then I'm going to give the Bears 9 wins just because I think that they are going to do an Andy Dalton experiment. And then it's going to be an awkward transition into the Justin Fields quarterback situation. And I just think there's going to be maybe a firing of Matt Nagy, like we discussed about. And just with all that chaos going on, I think it's going to be hard to get like the top division. So I'm going to give them 9 wins. And the Lions, I'm just going to say 4 wins just because I think that they're in a good position just to get another top 5, top 10 pick, and I think that's kind of what they want to do.
Okay, for my list, yeah, no surprise. I have the Packers. I think they're gonna get 13 wins. The past 2 years they've gotten 13 wins, so why not make it 3 years in a row? Also with an extra game, I think getting 13 wins is very possible. I think the Vikings go and get 12 wins this season. Their team is really good, and I think that they have a very good chance at going like 12-5 this
How
season.
many Monday night games do they have?
0. That's how they win 12 games.
Well, if they play the Bears on Monday night, they
No.
might get
Oh,
another one.
yeah.
That's pretty funny.
That was deep.
Uh,
Yeah.
and then I have the Bears. I think they'll go like 10 wins. I agree with what you guys were saying about, like, it depends on the quarterback play, but I just think, the roster as a whole, even if Andy Dalton were to play the whole season, that the roster could get 10 wins. And I have the line.
roster for the Bears. I feel like it's. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. It's
No, it's
just the management and coaching staff for me.
Yeah,
The
true.
roster is great for the Bears, in my opinion.
It's just Matt Nagy. It really
Yeah.
is. Just,
And it all depends on Sean Desai as DC too.
yeah, that's true.
He has to
Yeah.
be
And
good
then he's
DC.
so.
And
so
is Bill
stubborn.
Lazor even a good offensive
Bill Lazor's not
coordinator?
play
Who
calling,
knows?
but
I know, but he's still developing
Yeah,
schemes
that
and
is true.
Yeah.
involved in.
Look at Nathaniel
offense.
Hackett, beast. Well, I think Matt Nagy, the biggest problem with him is that he's just stubborn. Like, he
Yeah.
doesn't want to listen.
Yeah.
to
he
anybody.
doesn't take
That's
any
very
blame.
fair.
I don't like that about him. He let
Yeah.
Trubisky take all the blame when he definitely had some part in not adhering to his skills and like morphing the game plan around him. But when we just gave our picks, I pretty much agree with all of you guys. To talk about, people like to say that I don't understand when I see all these projections, ranking projections. Everyone has the Bears at 5 to 6 wins. I don't understand how the Bears are that worse of a team than they were last year. I think they upgraded a lot, or not a lot. I think they upgraded overall.
I think they're too talented on paper to win 5 games. Like,
That's true.
I like trashing on the Bears sometimes because I live in Chicago and it's kind of fun. They were the meme team for a while with a lot of their recent moves and Matt Nagy and everything like that. But they do have a lot of talent on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I just think people don't see our offense really getting better with Andy Dalton leading the way, because if the media believes that Andy Dalton will be our quarterback, then I could see why they think we can get 5 wins with Andy Dalton, or get just 5
The
wins.
Dalton trashing has just gone like overboard. Like Dalton's still better than Nick Foles. And
We also have a
Trubisky.
much harder.
I don't know if he is, though.
I think he's in that caliber.
He
I think
used to
he's
be good.
Yeah,
Here,
he used to be good.
Trubisky, Andy Dalton is right there.
I think
think Mitch
people are just
Might be
overjudging
better
like,
than
how he did
Dalton at
last year.
this point in their careers, to be honest. Dalton, the teams that played the Cowboys were trying to stop the run and stacking the box against Zeke. When you have Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and
CD.
who's the other guy? CD Lamb.
Mhm.
And the fact that they're stacking the box against that receiving core is really sad for Andy Dalton's play.
True.
Fair
And the
point.
O line was completely injured. They were ranked 27th by PFF, and PFF
yeah.
can only talk about O line. So if they're giving them bottom 6 O line, and
Hopefully, James Daniels just comes back solid.
oh yeah,
He
hopefully.
was just out all last season, and he was our best offensive lineman. So we're banking on him to come back just as good as he used to be in that guard position.
If Rodgers is gone, the Packers are just above the Lions. That's my rankings. If I would say that it would be Vikings, Bears, Packers, Lions. If Rodgers is gone,
I think they're last in the division.
you think so?
Dude, really?
I think they're last in the division.
I think they
think
just have like the
Rodgers is
edge
gone.
over the Lions because of the
Hey.
roster.
Rodgers is gone. They get more wins than the Bears.
What? That is
Ooh.
stupid. That's not even a
Dude.
hot take, bro.
We gotta
Before it's
remember
too-
that
He's too good of a coach, bro.
this is recorded. So,
Okay,
so.
no, that is recorded. Okay,
Documents.
we're gonna rewind back
I
to
don't-
this when the Packers have 4 wins at the end of the
I don't think
2021
Rodgers
season.
will be gone though. I don't think he's gonna leave, but
I honestly don't think he's gonna leave. I think that if anything, probably hold out like a couple of games and come back. A couple
That
of
would be
preseason
nice,
games
yeah.
and come back.
No, he should just hold out. He should come back in the middle of the season so he can get all his money still, or something like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see what happens with
no,
that.
I'll trade him if he does that.
Oh,
Didn't
he's
you
also
guys see-
GM now.
Hi,
But you guys
Goop.
didn't want to trade him. You guys had opportunities with 49ers.
That
Could've had-
that would have been scary. Honestly, I would have been mad if they traded Aaron Rodgers and they got that haul. Like they got like Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, And like
Mhm.
Justin Fields, if they or like that wasn't the trade proposal, so if you're that wasn't, but they offered the third pick and a bunch of players. So if the Packers got all of that, like and Justin Fields on a rookie contract, I would have been so mad.
I don't think we would have drafted Justin Fields though.
No, I don't think so. I think it would have been Pitts or Sewell,
True.
honestly.
Oh yeah, I
Probably
keep
Pitts, 'cause they
forgetting
don't
about
need
Jordan Love.
Sewell.
It's probably the
There you
0
go.
snaps he played.
The
Mm.
QB3 of the Packers.
Yeah, you won't be
Or
saying that
yeah,
when he's
zero
destroying
times
the
he
Bears in the
suited up
future,
for a
bro.
game.
Dude, imagine
Yeah.
if Jordan Love is actually like good, dude. I would be so happy. I would literally.
Oh no, dude.
I would not
The
stop
luck
talking
has
about
to
it.
run out. The luck has
I'm
to
Just
run
waiting,
out.
bro.
remember, Jordan Love has never worn pads in a jersey to a game.
Whoa,
That's how good
whoa.
he is.
What about his jersey on the site? It's of the hoodie, the Jordan Love home game jersey, and it's just a hoodie. Hey, he was a good morale booster. He told Rodgers not to throw pigs in the NFC Championship on the sideline.
Good cheerleading.
All right, that pretty much concludes it, guys. Thank you for tuning in to the Real Talk Network podcast. We've got another great episode for you guys next week, so stay tuned. Thank you guys for listening, and take care.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.